So you want me to tell you my story? Where should I even begin? As we discuss consummation this morning, I should start by saying that each one of our stories is unique, but they each have one thing in common. I should tell you that I grew up in Ada, Oklahoma, where generally all my neighbors were farmers, mechanics, and landscapers. Growing up in this community, I always believed that I was going to have a stereotypical Ada job, like the people that surrounded me. The crazy part about my story is that God used my passion, football, to bring me to a Christian college where I was exposed to more potential opportunities to see what God had in store for my life. I realized that there was more than farming, mechanics, and landscaping, and God had revealed to me my passion for youth ministry. To tell you my story, I should tell you that I applied to work a summer internship in a state that I had never been to, where I created and cultivated relationships with students through mission work, camps, and youth group events. I realized through my internship at North Atlanta that my story was not going to turn out how I expected. The summer let me see a glimpse of what could be a much bigger story. To tell you my story, I need to tell you about the life of Joseph, recorded in Genesis chapters 37 through 50. To explain Joseph's stories, you should know that his brothers plotted to kill him, but instead sold him into slavery. You should know that while he lived in the house of Potiphar, Potiphar's wife also conspired against him, and he was thrown into jail. Despite all of these hardships, you should know that he trusted God and delivered his family from the famine. Coming back to North Atlanta a second time, God revealed to me more than I thought possible. Starting with seeing that my story is unique, but the underlying truth, whether I want to accept it or not, is that my story will always lead me to God's story, the bigger story. Joseph did not see that God would put him in a high authority to eventually deliver his people, but he kept faith that God had a plan, regardless of whether he could see it or not. Through Joseph's story, I can hold on to hope that God is working through my story for a bigger plan. From being an Oklahoma boy thinking I had only 3 options for my life, to spending my summer in a brand new state as a youth intern, and to getting baptized for a second time, fully surrendering my life to Christ. I've seen that God has been working through my story, helping me find my purpose, which will lead to Him. All of our stories are different, but they all have one thing in common. See, to tell you my story, I need to tell you our story. And our story is God's story.